Hello everyone, welcome to Bio 220 Microbiology. This video is just an ins and outs to getting started on the right track. For our course, we're going to be primarily starting from Canvas, Lackawanna's Learning Management System. And just to see what that looks like, it's usually best once you're in this website to stick to the home page or the module page and to avoid the assignments page, mainly because the home page, it lists all of our weekly assignments in orderly fashion, starting with the Getting Started Learning module, and then by week 2, you'll gain access to Learning Module 1, and as the weeks go on, you'll gain access to the rest. If you go to the assignments page, it clumps all the assignments not in an orderly fashion, therefore it might be difficult to find where everything is. Some people seem to have issues during the first week, which is trying to access some of these required assignments in the Getting Started Learning module. Well, what I've noticed seems to fix that is go to the very first item at the top and just go to the bottom right and keep clicking next. As you continue forward, keep clicking next, and that essentially should help open all these other tasks along the way so that you have access to get into them. As far as the announcement page, that's good to check once a week or once per day, usually just for any info that might be helpful. This first announcement, all it really details is it details how to access the e-textbook for lecture if you buy the e-textbook, and also it gives some information about the first week. Now, the e-textbook, that's completely optional. You can buy the physical copy or any other copy of the lecture textbook however you want. The e-textbook, if you buy the access code, you can go on to Pearson. The instructions are in that first announcement, and you can access the e-textbook for the lecture textbook here. Again, the lecture textbook, it's optional if you want it through an access code. You can get it any other way. I will say this, there will be no assignments performed through the online site through Pearson. So you do not need an access code for the lecture. For any of the assignments, you only need an access code for the virtual lab assignments, which is a separate purchase. So for Pearson, you can have the book through any option you want, and this website through Pearson is just made available if you would like to use an access code for microbiology and introduction for that textbook specifically, but there won't be any other use at this website. Now, as far as the virtual lab assignments, if we go to the homepage, the virtual lab assignments, you'll start seeing those during week 2. So they will not be available during the first week. But during the second week, once you gain access to Learning Module 1, you can go to any of these virtual assignments, click on any of them through Canvas, and that will take you to, if you have a pop-up blocker, you'll see a launch button, which then you can click on, and it will take you to either the actual assignment, or you can try to go to the main student page. If you're at the main student page, you can then click on Benson's Microbiological Textbook to see this textbook. This is the only required purchase through an access code. You'll use the Benson's Laboratory Manual e-text. Essentially, if you ever need to do any questions for an exercise, so if you're ever tasked with doing questions for, say, exercise 1, 2, or 3, just click on the hamburger button, and then you can find any exercise you are specifically tasked with finding on this panel. And if you need to expand it, click here, and then read through the material. These are not actual experiments you're performing. These are just reading material. And then you may be asked to do the questions in the laboratory report section, where you'll just either make a PDF of them or fill out the information. Sometimes there'll be things to click on, like right here, if you're asked to do a certain link in a exercise, those can be found inside the actual exercise. And sometimes there'll be assignments available on Canvas where you'll write on those assignments instead. But primarily, it'll be very specific of what actual questions you're answering, which are usually these right here, the laboratory report questions. And if necessary, it will just be these in the laboratory report. Now, going back to the assignments, essentially you can't do these assignments during the first week, but during the second week of the class, some of these will become available. And then as the weeks go on, you'll gain access to more virtual labs. Essentially, just click on them through Canvas, and then they'll take you to the right site. And if you and when you have an access code for Benson, once you gain access to your assignments, that's when you'll use the access code. Going to class introductions, there's a video here that essentially will detail the process of gaining access to McGraw-Hill Connect. So do not use your access code until you watch this additional video, and once it's week 2 of the semester, that's when you can gain access to the virtual lab assignments. So the lecture textbook, get that through however you want. You do not need the access code for that, but you are required to have the access code for the laboratory section, and you won't use it until week 2 of the semester. Now, some additional things. As far as who to contact under certain situations, well, if you ever need to get a hold of me, do not use your email. Instead, use the Canvas inbox right here. That way, your emails, it will send me a message that's orderly and kept within Canvas. If you send me an email through the Lackawanna email server, those emails will get cluttered with all of the random junk mail that I get through the college. But if you contact me through Canvas inbox, everything will be kept in an orderly place, and I'll be able to easily and quickly respond to those in a timely fashion. Best practice, if you have a question about an assignment, send it with more than 24 hours before the assignment is due. That way it will allow me time to find the email, answer the question, and get back to you in a timely manner. But just contact me through Canvas inbox. That way everything is kept orderly. If you ever have problems with McGraw-Hill Connect, contact their support. They're the ones who are able to see your labs and able to work with you on that end or help you get connected or signed in if there are any issues there. The lecture textbook is, again, optional. You can use the physical copy or any other copy. We will not do any assignments through Pearson, so you do not need the access code for that, just the access code for the laboratory e-text. The e-text is for exercises, whenever you're asked to do those, and also you gain access to the virtual lab assignments. The virtual labs are the only actual lab component. Now, just to get into some due dates, once a learning module, either getting started or learning module 1, 2, once it becomes available on Monday morning, the final due date for all those assignments is usually the Sunday that after they become available. However, the last week of the semester will end on a Friday, so just note for the very last week, your assignments will be due on Friday, but every week before, submit everything at least by Sunday. The only thing with a unique date is actually discussion boards. Discussion boards involve 4 posts per discussion board. We'll have 2 discussion boards per week or 2 discussion questions per week. So you must participate 4 times within each discussion board. Now, when you participate, it involves answering the discussion board question at the top once you enter the board. That will be your post, and you will be responsible with replying to 3 of your classmates' posts throughout the week. Within a discussion board, your post and your 3 replies must be on separate days of the week. For example, for discussion question 1, you might have your post on Tuesday, and then you might reply to classmates on Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. Or maybe another option, have your initial post on Monday, and then you can respond to classmates on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. These are all part of e-learning department's policies, and they go into getting the full amount of credit for the discussion board assignments. Now, discussion boards, your first post will always be due by Wednesday of that week. So you can have your first post in by Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, and that's fine. But then afterwards, after your initial post, start replying again among 4 separate days. Now, within each post and each reply, to get the most amount of credit or to get full points, each post and reply must be substantial, as in they add material to the course, or your initial post has to answer the question up top, and then your reply should add some additional information. It could be 2 to 3 sentences. It does not need to be paragraphs, but it has to be more than just saying, hey, I like what you wrote, or this is great. You need to add some substantial information. And lastly, to get full credit as part of the discussion board rubric, every time that you make a post or a reply, include, toward the end of what you wrote, include a citation to a relevant source. So at the end of the week, you should have a total of 8 posts, 4 for each discussion board, and each one should have a citation. Now, the citation could be as simple as saying citation or source, and then listing the relevant pages to the textbook that you used or to a relevant website, whatever. These do not need to be elaborate citations, just simply something that you connect to the information that you used to add to the class. So within one discussion board, as you answer the discussion question, have your post and replies on 4 separate days. Now, in your separate discussion question, do the same thing. You can have your posts on the same day, and you have your second reply on the same day in both boards, the third reply on the same day. Essentially, each of these are independent. It's just within each, you must have 4 separate days of activity for full participation. Now, beyond that, there's not much more to get into. It's really just going to be starting to get familiar with this. I'll have this video here in class introductions, and beyond that, there's really not more to get into. So this should be a good introduction to the course, and all the best on your semester, everyone. Peace.